Now to the legal landscape. Our legal analyst, attorney Dan Adams, joins us every Monday breaking down the biggest cases happening across Wisconsin and the country. Good morning, Dan. On Thursday, the Supreme Court denied a tech industry group's request to block Mississippi from restricting children's social media access. Dan, why did the court decide this, and what does it mean for regulation of social media in the future?
Hey, good morning, Mallory. Now, this is kind of an interesting development because remember, the Supreme Court has a usual term where it issues decisions based on long litigation of controversies, and that ended in June. So to get an order last week was a little unusual, but it's called something called the emergency docket. They're given different things that pop up that need an emergency or an immediate response. And this came from an order of the trial court down in Mississippi that said that this law that the state of Mississippi passed that would require young people to obtain their parents' consent before they can open a social media account, and the social media companies would have to verify user age. The trial court put a hold on that law down in Mississippi. This was an emergency action to see if that order should be maintained or if the law should be allowed to go into practice before the litigation is ended. And so the Supreme Court, in their order, said, no, this law can remain because there's no long-term damage to the plaintiffs, the social media companies. So litigate this fully and bring it back to us one day. So there wasn't a full decision regarding social media regulation. It just said, hey, this law is on the books. It should be able to go forward. So we're going to see a lot of action in this area regarding parental consent, regarding the responsibility of social media companies with new litigation in the near future.
Yeah, more updates and rulings to come for sure. Here in Wisconsin, the Waukesha teen charged with killing his parents and accused of threatening to kill President Donald Trump will be in court today. The last time 17-year-old Nikita Kasap was in a courtroom was 3 months ago when his attorneys requested more time for discovery. Dan, what have his lawyers been doing since then?
Well, it's not unusual to ask for some time to review a case. And here, Kasap has two very fine attorneys from the Public Defender Office, Katie Holtz and Paul Raffel. They are very diligent people, so I'm sure that they have been looking at the reams and reams of discovery. Again, we know that there was a crime scene here in Waukesha, the village of Waukesha. We know that there's multiple other states where he traveled to after the death of his parents, which of course he's alleged to have committed with a 357 Magnum that he was found with when they pulled him over in Kansas, along with lots of cash money and some video purporting of him with his parents' bodies. Very macabre case. So I'm sure that they've been looking at all of that evidence and seeing if it comports with what the police say is in the materials. This may not be a case of whether or not the defendant committed these two homicides, but rather why he did it, whether there's some degree of insanity defense here or some type of coercion defense. In the criminal complaint, there is some sections about some internet conversations that he had with some people from Ukraine or Russia. So I believe that will come into the defense later down the road.
Yeah, and we'll be in court this morning bringing updates on 12 News at 11. Dan, thank you so much. We'll see you again next Monday for more of the legal landscape.